Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to It's Review Time Part 3. As I promised, I will journey with you in your quest to pass the licensure examination for teachers. This series of review materials will help you increase the chance of passing and also train you to manage time. Explanation for each item is given after each question. And this time, I'm gonna do it in Taglish. Our review material this time is for general education, specifically natural sciences. But before we start, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will get notified of the new uploads. Question number 1. What do you call the building blocks of proteins? A. Nucleotides. B. Fatty acids. C. Monomers. D. Amino acids. The correct answer is D. Amino acids. Ang amino acids ay organic compounds na bumubuo ng protein. Kaya nga tinatawag silang building blocks. Pero maliban sa building blocks nga sila ng protein, nag-a-assist din sila sa synthesis ng hormones at neurotransmitters. So, pagka ang amino acids ay pagdugtong-dugtungin mo, ang tawag doon na pag nabuo ay polypeptide. Roughly, merong 500 amino acids na nag-i-exist in nature, pero 20 amino acids lang ang bumubuo ng protein na meron sa human body. Number 2 question. The growth of plants in response to gravity is an example of A. Chemotropism. B. Geotropism. C. Hydrotropism. D. Phototropism. The correct answer is B. Geotropism. Ang tropism ay directional growth ng isang organism, kadalasan ay plants, in response doon sa external stimulus, kagaya halimbawa ng light, ng gravity, ng tubig, at iba pa. Pag ang growth ay towards the stimulus, papatungo doon sa stimulus, ang tawag doon ay positive tropism. Pero kung away, papalayo doon naman sa stimulus, ang tawag doon ay negative tropism. So, isa sa mga klase ng tropism, itong tinatawag na geotropism. This is the growth of a plant in response to gravity. So, kapag ka negative, papalayo sa gravity. Pag positive, geotropism, that's the same siya na direction ng gravity. So, example, kagaya dito sa ating figure, yan. So, yung negative tropism, kapag ka ang tanim ay nag-grow siya, yung paghaba ng kanyang stem, ng mga dahon pataas, away from the ground, negative tropism yan. Pero yung paghaba ng ugat, papaspread doon sa soil, yun ay positive tropism. Ang phototropism naman ay growth ng plant in response to light. Nandyan na yung term, photo. Huwag niyang kalimutan, that means light. So, kagaya nito nakikita niyo sa picture, that's a plant bending towards the source of light. So, phototropism. Another type ng tropism is itong tinatawag na thigmotropism. So, ang thigmotropism is yung response ng plant to touch or contact. Kagaya nung nakikita nyo dito sa picture, yung tendrils ng tanim. Dito ang example natin ay sweet pea, pero mas makaka-relate siguro tayo sa tendrils ng ampalaya. Habang gumagapang siya, bumubuo din siya ng tendrils para makakapit doon sa balag or pakapitan na nilagay natin. So, another example niyan, yung vines na nag-grow sa wall or sa fence. Meron pang iba mga example ng tropism. So, at ito ay yung hydrotropism or ito yung response ng growth towards the water. So, kagaya niya, no, nag-grow dito yung roots towards the source of moisture. And then another is yung tinatawag na thermotropism. Ito naman yung tendency ng plant na mag-bend away or towards the source of heat. Kagaya nitong nasa example natin, rhododendron leaves bending or curling in response to cold temperatures. Another example ng tropism ay yung chemotropism. Ito naman is movement caused by chemical stimuli. So, for example, yung growth daw of pollen tube is always towards the ovule so that reproduction can occur. In biology, DNA means A. Data nurturing analysis, B. Deoxyribonucleic acid, C. Deoxyribonucleic acid, and D. Diethylcyl nucleic acid. The correct answer is C. Deoxyribonucleic acid. So, wala naman masyadong explanation dito. Kailangan mo lang tandaan na ang DNA, ang ibig sabihin niyan ay deoxyribonucleic acid. So, DNA is the hereditary materials in humans and almost all other organisms. So, nakikita nyo yan sa picture, double helix siya. Binubuo siya ng sugar, phosphate backbone. Tapos, meron ding base pairs. So, adenine, ang kapares niya ay thymine. Cytosine, ang kapares niya naman ay guanine. Number 4 question. In flowering plants, what part of female flower does fertilization take place? A. Pollen tube, B. Ovary, C. Stamen, D. Pollen grain. The correct answer is B. Ovary. So, ito yung flower. Now, here, makikita natin na merong pollen grain na nag-adhere doon sa stigma. Tapos, dadaan yan siya sa pollen tube para makapasok. While nagto-travel siya from here, nagkakaroon ng changes, magiging sperm yan siya. So, papasok dito sa ovule, itong ovule na nasa loob ng ovary. Dito, nagtitake place ang fertilization. So, ito yung process niya until maging embryo siya. Yan. So, yan yung shortcut ng ating fertilization. So, ang tanong lang naman, saan nag-occur ang fertilization? So, kung ang choice nakalagay doon ay either ovary or ovule, pwede yan silang maging tama. So, kung ovary ang nasa choice, ovary ang isasagot nyo. Kung ovule ang nasa choices, ovule ang isasagot. Number 5 question. The development of an egg without fertilization is called A. Meiosis, B. Parthenogenesis, C. Spermatogenesis, and D. Oogenesis. The correct answer is B. Parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis is a reproductive strategy that involves the development of female, bihira na male yan, gamit or yung sex cells na tinatawag without fertilization. So, hindi na siya dumadaan ng fertilization, napubuo siya bilang new individual. Whereas, yung ibang choices naman, yung meiosis is a type of cell division occurring in sex cells. Yan yung nagre-reduce ng number ng chromosome sa kalahati. So, kalahati sa sperm cell, kalahati sa egg cell, para kung yung egg at ang sperm ay nag-unite in the process of fertilization, marirestore ang exact number of chromosome ng organism. Sunod naman is the spermatogenesis. So, this is the development of sperm na nag-occur sa testes ng male. And oogenesis naman yung pag-form ng egg cell or ovum na nangyayari naman sa ovary ng female. Number 6 question. The smallest part of a living thing which performs all the processes a living organism does. A. Cell. B. Organ. C. Tissue. D. Organ system. The correct answer is A. Cell. Familiar naman tayo sa cell. So, we know that cell is the smallest unit of living thing. So, a living thing, whether made of one cell, kagaya ng mga bacteria, unicellular sila, or many cells, kagaya ng tao, or multicellular organism. Yan. Yung tissue naman, kapag pinagsama-sama mo yung cell together at nag-function yan as one, ang tawag natin ay tissue. Itong tissue naman, kapag pinagsama-sama mo para mabuo sila at mag-specific function din ang gagawin nila, yan ay organ. Kapag ang organ, pinagsama-sama mo sila, ang tawag natin ay organ system. Kagaya lang yan halimbawa ng umpisa natin, kagaya lang halimbawa nung sa tissue, merong muscle tissue, bone tissue, ganun. So, yung sa organ naman, kagaya halimbawa ng heart, ng liver, ng kidney. Ang organ system naman, ito yung kagaya ng brain, ng spinal cord, at saka ng mga nerve, bumubuo sila ng nervous system. Yung heart, yung mga blood vessels, yan, bumubuo naman sila ng circulatory system. So, yun yung organ systems. Number 7 question. The instrument used in meteorological science to measure the humidity or amount of water vapor in the air is called A. Hygrometer, B. Synchrometer, C. Hydrometer, D. Seismometer. The correct answer is A. Hygrometer. Hygrometer is an instrument used in meteorological science to measure the humidity or amount of water vapor in the air. Wala lang masyadong explanation, tandaan nyo lang. Basta humidity or water vapor sa air, hygrometer ang ginagamit. Ang hydrometer naman, specific gravity ng liquid ang kanyang mini-measure. Gravity ng liquid. Ang synchrometer naman is ginagamit siya para ma-measure ang kilograms per hour ng airflow. Yung airflow siya. At ang seismometer naman is an instrument na ginagamit para ma-detect yung mga ground noises and shaking na kinukos ng earthquake, volcanic eruptions, and explosions. So ito siya, kinukombine with a timing device and a recording device para mabuo yung seismograph na nagiging basis kung meron bang mga paparating na earthquake. Number 8 question. The process of spreading out spontaneously to occupy a space uniformly. A. Compression. B. Diffusion. C. Effusion. And D. Pressure. The correct answer is B. Diffusion. Diffusion is the process of a substance spreading out evenly. So, ito yung nagmo-move ang particle from high concentration to low concentration. Example, kapag ka nag-spray ka ng perfume sa isang side ng room, maya-maya lang yung buong room nangangamoy na ng iyong perfume. Whereas, ang compression naman is yung nagde-decrease ang volume ng any object as a result ng applied na stress. Pwede mangyari ito sa solid, sa liquid, sa gas, and doon sa mga living systems. Ang effusion naman ay process siya ng gas molecules escaping from a small hole in the container. So, ito yung nag-i-explain kung bakit ang fumes ay noticeable kapag merong leaky na fuel pipe. Pressure naman is defined to be the amount of force exerted per area. Compounds with the same molecular formula but with different structural formulas are called A. Monomers, B. Cellulose, C. Polymers, D. Isomers. The correct answer is D. Isomers. Isomers are compounds with identical chemical formulae but different structures. Example, kagaya nito, ang kanyang molecular formula ay C6H7NO. Pero pwede siyang mag-exist sa tatlong structure. Ito ay tinatawag nating structural isomers. Pwede siyang 2-aminophenol, 3-aminophenol, and 4-aminophenol. Kung napapansin ninyo, ang nagbago lang ay yung location ng NH2. Ang cellulose naman, ito ay isang molecule. Karamihan, nakikita ito siya sa cell wall ng plants para maging stiff and upright or rigid ang plant cell. Ang polymer naman is a very large chain-like molecule made up of monomers, which are small molecules. Number 10 question. It is the distance traveled by the body per unit time and tells how fast or slow the body moves. A. Velocity, B. Speed, C. Acceleration, D. Thrust. The correct answer is B. Speed. Speed is the distance traveled per unit of time. It is how fast an object is moving. Whereas, yung velocity naman of an object is the rate of change of its position with respect to a frame of reference and is a function of time. So, halos pareho lang talaga ang speed at ang velocity. Ang pinagkaiba lang, kapag may velocity, meron na siyang direction. So, kung speed lang, basta kung gaano siya kabilis, bahala na kung saan siya papunta, pakaliwa ba yan, pakanan, pataas, pababa. Pero kung velocity, meron na siyang direction. Pwedeng north-south, pwede din sa mga axis, y-axis, x-axis, or pwede rin siyang negative or positive. Acceleration rate naman is at which velocity changes with time. So, in terms of both speed and direction. Ayan yung acceleration. Yung thrust naman is a mechanical force. It is generated most often through the reaction of accelerating a mass of gas. Number 11 question. It is the phenomena in which energy is transferred through vibrations. A. Frequency, B. Refraction, C. Waves, D. Amplitude. The correct answer is C. Waves. Wave is a common term for a number of different ways in which energy is transferred. So, electromagnetic waves, sound waves, and water waves. Ang frequency naman, siya yung number of waves that passed a fixed point in unit time. Okay, so yan yung number of cycles or vibrations undergone during 1 unit of time by a body in periodic motion. Ang refraction naman is change in direction of wave passing from one medium to another caused by its change in speed. Amplitude. Ito naman is the maximum displacement or distance moved by a point on a vibrating body or wave measured from its equilibrium position. It is equal to 1/2 the length of the vibration path. Number 12 question. The unit of measurement for intensity of sound. A. Hertz. B. Frequency. C. Angstrom. D. Decibel. The correct answer is D. Decibel. We measure sound intensity, also referred to as sound power or sound pressure, in units called decibels. Yung hertz naman is the unit of frequency. Ito madalas ninyong naririnig to, yung mga frequency. Kagaya lang halimbawa nung FM, 'di ba? Meron silang kanya-kanyang frequency. Ang angstrom naman is unit of length, equal to 10 to the power of minus 10 meter or 0.1 nanometer. It is used chiefly in measuring wavelengths of light. So, it is named for the 19th century Swedish physicist Anders Jonas Angstrom. Frequency naman in physics is the number of waves that pass a fixed point in unit time. So also the number of cycles or vibrations undergone during 1 unit of time by a body in periodic motion. Number 13 question. The term radar is derived from which phrase? A. Radio detection and ranging. B. Radiation diffusion and ranging. C. Radio diffraction and resolution. D. Radiation diffraction and resolution. The correct answer is A. Radio detection and ranging. Radar or radio detection and ranging is a detection system. Ito yung ginagamit or gumagamit ng radio waves para ma-determine ang distance, yung angle, or velocity ng object. So, nagagamit siya para ma-detect yung paparating na mga aircraft, paparating na ships, or spacecraft, guided missile. Diba? Pag napapanood natin sa mga movie, ano, yung sabi nila, yung mga fighter plane, nakalak na ang missile. So, that is because of radar. Pwede rin siyang gamitin for motor vehicles, weather formations, and terrain. The word laser is derived from what phrase? A. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. B. Light amplification by simulated emission of radiation. C. Light amplification by simulated ejection of radiation. And D. None of the above. The correct answer is A. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Laser or light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation is a device that stimulates atoms or molecules to emit light at a particular wavelength and amplifies that light, typically producing a very narrow beam of radiation. So, kagaya na nakikita nyo dito sa picture, na ito, yan. And the emission generally covers an extremely limited range of visible, infrared, or ultraviolet wavelengths. Many different types of laser have been developed with highly varied characteristics. So, minsan nakikita din natin ito siya sa mga movie. Ginagamit siya to protect rooms or valuables, para hindi nakawin. Yan. Number 17 question. What causes high and low tides? A. Earth's rotation on its axis. B. Sun's solar energy. C. Moon's gravitational pull. D. Earth's gravitational pull. The correct answer is C. Moon's gravitational pull. High and low tides are caused by the moon. The moon's gravitational pull generates the tidal force. So, ito, ang tanging tatandaan lang natin, basta high tide o low tide o basta tide, no, siya ay dahil sa gravitational pull na nanggagaling sa moon. Number 18 question. How is coral atoll formed? A. Hydrothermal vents. B. Corals growing around a volcanic island. C. Underwater bedrock formations. D. Earthquake. The correct answer is B. Corals growing around a volcanic island. This circular type of coral reef, tawag nga is atoll, is created as a ring of coral surrounds an undersea volcano that has risen above the water surface. So, nakikita natin dito sa picture, no? Merong volcano. So, nag-erupt siya. Nagkaroon ng pag-rise dito ng surface. Pagkatapos, a coral reef forms around the volcanic island. Yan, yeah, volcanic island siya. And then, itong reef na to, paunti-unti, kasi itong volcanic island na to ay magsisink, paunti-unti mawawala siya. Tapos, maiiwan dito yung barrier reef. Tapos, yung napapaikutan na ito sa gitna, ang tawag natin dyan ay lagoon. Number 19 question. The part of the atmosphere that filters the ultraviolet rays of the sun. A. Stratosphere. B. Troposphere. C. Ozone layer. D. Ionosphere. The correct answer is C. Ozone layer. Hindi naman siguro kailangan na mahabang paliwanagan dito kasi halos lahat naman alam na kapag sinabing ano ba ang pinaka-protection ng Earth against the radiation, UVA, UVB, UVC, no, dito yung sun, tapos ito yung mga UVs, ang pinaka means of protection talaga natin is yung ozone layer. Kaya nga issue yung greenhouse gases at iba pang mga pollution kasi paunti-unti sinisira niyan ang ating ozone layer. Number 20 question. Which of the following is not a compound? A. Acetic acid. B. Alcohol. C. Magnesium. D. Zinc oxide. The correct answer is C. Magnesium. Sa lahat ng nandoon sa choices, magnesium lang ang element at hindi siya compound. Number 21 question. Which of the following is a prokaryotic cell? A. Bacteria. B. Virus. C. Prion. D. Amoeba. The correct answer is A. Bacteria. Ang bacteria ay cellular siya, no? Mayroon siyang cell, pero prokaryotic. Number 1 na characteristic, wala siyang nucleus. Ang virus naman is not cellular. Ang tawag natin sa kanya ay acellular infectious agent. Hindi siya cell, ha? And then, ang prion naman, pareho lang ng virus, no? Hindi rin siya cellular. Acellular infectious mutated protein siya. Ang amoeba naman, cellular. Pero hindi siya prokaryote. Siya ay eukaryote. Characterize siya primarily na meron siyang nucleus at iba pang membrane-bound organelles. Number 22 question. The point in the Earth's orbit which is nearest the Sun. A. Solstice. B. Eclipse. C. Aphelion. D. Perihelion. The correct answer is D. Perihelion. Perihelion is the point of the Earth's orbit that is nearest to the Sun. Yung aphelion naman is the point of the Earth's orbit that is farthest away from the Sun. So, yung nakikita nyo dito sa picture, kung ito yung Sun, pag malapit siya, no, ito yung perihelion. Pag malayo, ito naman yung aphelion. So, itong dalawang word na to, kahit ako minsan nalilito, no? So, kailangan tandaan saan ba ang away at saan ang farthest, saan ang nearest. So, ako, para matandaan ko, tinatandaan ko lang itong A ng aphelion. A as in away from the sun. So, siya yung mas malayo and perihelion, siya yung mas malapit. Yung eclipse naman, nangyayari when one celestial object moves into the shadow of the other. Kagaya lang halimbawa pa nagkakaroon ng lunar eclipse or ng solar eclipse. Solstice naman is a moment in the year where the sun's apparent path is farthest north or south from Earth's equator. Number 23 question. What does the word monsoon mean? A. Moon will come soon. B. Atmosphere. C. Seasons. D. Climate. The correct answer is C. Season. A monsoon is traditionally a seasonal reversing wind accompanied by corresponding changes in precipitation but is now used to describe seasonal changes. So, basta monsoon, seasonal changes yan siya. Familiar tayo dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, yung ating dalawang monsoon, diba? Yung ating amihan at saka habagat. Number 24 question. The process of removing excess odor in water. A. Sedimentation. B. Chlorination. C. Distillation. D. Aeration. The correct answer is D. Aeration. Aeration water treatment is effective for management of dissolved gases such as radon, carbon dioxide, kasama na din yung hydrogen sulfide. So, ito sila yung pag nandyan sa water, hindi kaaya-aya yung amoy ng water, hindi rin kaaya-aya yung kanyang taste. So, kailangan matanggal sila. Nagkataon na karamihan sa mga ito ay volatile. Ibig sabihin, natatanggal sila in just merely aeration. So, aeration raises also the pH of water. So, ito yung nasa picture na ito, makikita mo na ito yung tinatawag na aeration tank. Yung sedimentation kasi is the action or process of forming or depositing the sediments. Ginagawa natin to kapag ka ang water ay maraming particles o particulate. Deposit mo siya sa baba, ipapasettle mo sa ibaba para mag-clear ang water. Ang chlorination naman, ito usually ginagawa siya sa mga swimming pool, sa water, para mamatay ang hindi kaya-ayang organisms, kagaya ng parasites, bacteria, viruses. And distillation naman is an expensive process. Mahal yan siya, no? So, itong distillation, ginagawa siya para ma-convert ang liquid into vapor. Tapos, pag nag-condense yung vapor na yan, nababalik siya into liquid. Who communicated the theory of evolution in his book, Origin of Species? A. Albert Einstein. B. Charles Darwin. C. Johannes Kepler. D. Isaac Newton. The correct answer is B. Charles Darwin. The theory of evolution by natural selection, first formulated in Charles Darwin's book, The Origin of Species. So, idinidescribe dito kung paano nag-evolve ang organism from one generation to another generation. Si Einstein naman, siya naman ang pinanggalingan ng theory of relativity. Si Johannes Kepler naman, siya ay mas kilala sa 3 laws of planetary motion. Whereas, si Isaac Newton naman, siya naman yung nag-discover ng laws of gravity and motion at siya rin ang nag-invent ng calculus. So, that's all for this review material. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy these review materials and you learn from this. If you like this review material, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get to be notified of the next review material video upload. Thank you very much and bye for now. Keep safe, everyone.